Hey guys, welcome to Muscle Memory. My name is Malcolm. Now there's a new champion of the Nightmare Factory, the main man, Mike Cunningham. How are you?
I'm doing great, Malcolm. I really appreciate this opportunity, man. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, man. I mean, like you have a giant win. I mean, the Nightmare Factory Championship. That's a huge title for people that don't know. That's Cody Rhodes' wrestling academy, wrestling school. What does it mean to you to be the first ever, I believe, Nightmare Factory champion?
Man, well, I got to start this interview off by giving glory to God. Without him, I wouldn't be here. And truly, he's opened doors in my life that I never thought could open. So, first off, glory to God. Second of all, thank you for that introduction. And yeah, it was a really special night in my life and career up until this point. And as far as the Nightmare Factory Championship lineage, there's been two prior champions to me. The first ever champion was the Warden, who I defeated
Mm,
on Friday night, and he held the belt. And the next guy was his name's Luke Sampson. So
okay.
both of them, did an amazing job with the title. Really carried it with great matches and performed very well with the belt. But with this new chapter, with the Nightmare Factory being a part of the WWE ID program, we're now starting to stream shows and film. And so this is a new era, and I couldn't be more excited and humbled that I'm able to now lead this new era and be the face of the Nightmare Factory. So I'm excited and ready to just get going, man. I want to be a fighting champion.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the WWE ID program. Now, Nightmare Factory is one of the few wrestling schools that are associated with that ID program. Is it a goal for you to become ID'd for that program?
Absolutely. I think everything I do, that's where I want to be. That's a goal of mine. And, each day just trying to get 1% better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So the big goal for you is to make it to the WWE. That's like the big end goal for you, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the people that are WWE ID, I've had the pleasure to meet a couple of them. And, they're the hardest working guys in the room. They're so driven, so talented. And so, watching them, seeing what they're doing now on the Evolve show,
Yeah,
so cool. And it's very motivating. That's where I want to be. I want to be with the best. I want to continue to be pushed and challenged. And the WWE has always been a childhood dream of mine, and that's the place where the best are. So I'm excited for this, and with our school having that designation, it's huge. I think we have the nicest wrestling school in the United States. The coaches, it starts, with Cody Rhodes,
yeah.
who is my hero, my idol. I look up to him, and seeing what he did as the undisputed champion, so cool. We have Billy Gunn, who's a coach at our school, and he's been instrumental in helping me get to this point. And along with Luke Sampson, he's a wrestler here in Georgia, and he does such a great job with the training. And so it's a top-notch school, and they really prepare you, and it's been a great experience.
Awesome, man. Now, I mean, you mentioned Cody Rhodes, your hero. He's the undisputed, or was the former undisputed champion of WWE. How often are you guys seeing Cody Rhodes? Because obviously that guy's schedule is incredibly busy. He's doing appearances everywhere on television. He's going to be on the Naked Gun, apparently. I saw him in the trailer. That's amazing to see. How often are you seeing Cody Rhodes, and what kind of advice are you getting from him?
So Cody Rhodes, as you said, probably the busiest guy in the world. And so when I was a camper, this was back in July to September, I got to see him four times. And each time that he's there, he's so present. Like you'd have no idea that he's got so many other things going on. And he really gave me such great advice with promos and finding that character, finding the little things to make you kind of stand out.
Yeah.
And so I take that advice with me to this day. We have notes, or I have notes in my notebook that I'll go back to, because he just really, focused on the little details, which the little details are really what make that big picture and can captivate a crowd, can sell yourself.
Absolutely. Now, is there like, or I guess like looking at Cody Rhodes' career currently, when he faced John Cena for the title, he obviously lost it. What was your thoughts on seeing, a guy that, you go to his school, you're essentially his champion, lose his title to a guy like John Cena? And yes, it wasn't the main event of WrestleMania, but still.
That match, talk about big fight feel, right? I mean, the guy of the past 15 to 20 years, the face of the place, John Cena, versus really the guy that took that torch and has carried the WWE for the last couple years. So I thought it was just really cool. The setup to it. with what happened at Elimination Chamber. They really, I think, sold that fight as a big main event. But yeah, I mean, I was upset that Cody lost. I'm a Cody guy, so but we'll see what happens. WWE, everything's changing and evolving, so it would be exciting to see what Cody Rhodes gets up to here.
As like Cody's champion, there's also another school down in Texas, the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. Obviously Gold Dust, Dustin Rhodes. Have you ever thought about going down there? Maybe you guys having a match between his champion and you, obviously being Cody's champion.
Man, that would be great. I had the pleasure of meeting two wrestlers, Dalton Rhodes, and I believe they go by Wayne and Wyatt Rhodes, but the Outlaws. And, they wrestle over at Dustin's school, and they're the nephews of Cody Rhodes, and both really cool guys. And so, I had tagged with a partner named Sebastian Blaze.
Yeah.
And we had talked about the idea of possibly doing some tag team stuff down the road. So that would be an honor of mine, and I would love to get out there and do that.
How would you describe the main man for a person who hasn't seen you wrestle before?
That's a great question. So the main man is really to know what it feels like. I guess you got to experience it live, but I'll try and do my best to articulate what it means to be the main man. The main man is not only just a saying, it's a way of life. Everything you do, be proud of it, right? There's a saying that I love, and it's, if you're going to turn something in, are you going to put your name on it? And do you feel proud that you're turning that in? So everything I do, whether it goes to the gym, wrestling training, performing at these shows, the dieting, the sleep, the recovery, everything, even interacting with fans or meeting people for the first time, I want to be proud to put my name on it. And so the main man is that, exemplified. I want to give my all in that ring. I want to bring the fans in because they give me so much energy. They keep me going in that fight because I will wrestle guys twice my size, bigger, stronger. But that energy, man, you can't describe it. And when I get that going, the main man's on the loose, and it's a problem for whoever I'm in the ring with.
That's amazing, man. Three more questions for you. What's like your biggest dream match in pro wrestling right now? Because obviously you're still a little newer to the game. What's like the biggest dream match for you?
Wow, that's a great question as well. I'll probably go the default answer and say Cody Rhodes.
That's a good one
Uh,
though.
I think, yeah, I mean, it really, I don't think we got to overcomplicate it. I think that would be very cool, totally full circle, and a match that I would be, extremely honored to do. Another one would be probably The Rock.
Oh yeah,
I
of
feel like
course.
you could have too much fun in there.
So how long have you been wrestling? How long have you been in this wrestling game where people are, now just figuring out who you are?
So we're gonna go all the way back to 2020. I graduated high school, and at the time, COVID had just happened.
Yeah.
And so my high school, after really March, I didn't have school anymore. It was a very odd time, but I was already kind of looking and seeing, is there any schools in the area? And so there was a school by the name of Level Up Pro Wrestling in San Diego, California. And so my first ever time going was, my parents, especially my dad, was a little bit hesitant to let me start training. And so I told him that I was going to the golf course to work on my swing. So I actually had a polo on, I had shorts on, had my bag,
Yeah.
get in my car, I drive about a block away, take all that off. I got my wrestling gear. I headed to the school. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the origin of breaking in. And eventually, after a couple weeks, he caught on to, I'm not that good at golf.
I love
And
it.
so for 7 months, I trained over there. And at that point, I wanted to pursue my education. And so I went to school at Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
So I put wrestling on hold. But the whole time I was in college, that was always what I wanted to do. And so 7 months in 2020, and then fast forward to 2024, July is when I started training. So I've been in the game for almost a year. And if you're not adding the 7 months prior, and it's been quite the ride. I'm, so fortunate and blessed to be in the position I am.
You kind of just look like someone that should be on television. Like I feel like this is gonna work out for you. I don't know where it's gonna be, what company it's gonna be, but one of those three letters are gonna show up for you, and they're gonna bring you in. I can see it happen easily, man. But
Thank you very
of
much.
course, of course. Final question for you. A question I like to ask every wrestler at the end of all these interviews. Mike Cunningham, the Nightmare Factory champion, the main man. What is your Waffle House order?
Oh, all right. You're gonna think I'm like a total freak. Um, I'm going 6 servings of egg whites,
Okay.
2 whole eggs,
Yo.
side of chicken sausage.
Ooh. Wait. Say the last part again.
Side of chicken sausage.
Side of chicken. Okay, I got you. Why chicken sausage though?
Just a little bit leaner.
Yeah, but it's not as fun. It's not as fun as like
Yeah.
the nasty, greasy pork you can get at Waffle
I
House. I love it.
told you, man, it's not like the most sexy order, but it gets the job done.
But do you put Waffle House sauce on it? Have you ever put Waffle House sauce on anything?
I don't. I stick to Cholula or Tabasco.
Oh, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it.
All
You
right,
gotta get the sauce.
hey, next time I go, all
Yeah.
right, your order. I'm gonna get the Malcolm special. Tell me what it is.
Ooh, okay. So probably just a Caesar salad. Nah, I'm playing. That's a lie. There's no
I was
salads at
gonna say
Waffle
what?
House. Nah, so it's two hash brown bowls, sausage, egg, and cheese, and then you take like a gallon of Waffle House sauce and you just dump it. You can swim in it if you want, but I prefer to drink it with a straw. But that's just me.
A gallon?
Why not? Good
Hey
for you.
man, why not? Hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. I appreciate your time, man. Where can I find you on social media if they're not already following you?
I'm at Mike Cunningham on Instagram, but instead of an I in Mike, it's the number one, which is only fitting because I am the main man.
I love it. I love it. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Guys, my name is Malcolm. This is Muscle Memory, and we're out.
We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. Hey.